Welcome to hell. Or in this case, welcome to heaven. This is Monster Train 2. It seems the forces of hell have finished their fight and have ascended up the golden staircase to cleanse the forces that are corrupting heaven. This does mean, sadly, that we're leaving behind the original clans we've come to know and love from the first game. That is, the Awoken, Stygian, Umbra, Remnant, and Wormkin, and also the ones that we didn't come to love, like the Hellhorned, but that is because in this game we play as 5 new clans. I know very little about this game. I have intentionally tried to keep myself as spoil-free as possible. I have played the demo a couple times, so I guess not really spoil-free, but I know what's up with the Banished and with the Pyreborne, though I don't know any of the alt characters. I also know vaguely what the Lazarus League do. The other 2 clans are fully a mystery to me. I also played this game for a few hours. It was only 2 runs over on Becca's Twitch channel, or VVTuber. That is sort of in episode 0, but this is my first actual time playing it myself outside of the demo. So let's see. There is a short intro cinematic that we aren't going to watch today, but you can watch it pretty much anywhere. It is on the Steam page and it is not very interesting. So the game throws you directly into a run. We are starting as the Banished and the Pyreborne. These are the only 2 clans you have unlocked and the only 2 heroes that you have to start with. We are starting with Fel. She has Multi-Strike 1 and Revenge, Apply Valor 1 to her friendly units on her floor. I'll also quickly go over the other cards that we have in this deck. The Firestarter is the Banished Champion's starting card. It deals 1 damage and applies Pyregel 2. Pyregel 2, in case you're curious, is a debuff that stacks on enemies and increases every instance of incoming damage by the amount of stacks of Pyregel that they have. Next, we have Just Cause. Just Cause targets a unit, makes it move to the front of the floor, which is what Advance means, and it applies 2 Valor to it. Valor is a new buff. Characters that have Valor gain 1 extra attack for each stack of Valor that they have. They also, at the end of the round, if they are in the front of their floor, get armor up to their Valor amount of stacks. Don't be confused and think, oh, if I have 2 Valor, I gain 2 armor. That is not true. You set your armor to 2 if it is lower than 2. Lastly, we have 2 different types of stewards. They come in 2 different flavors now. The slightly bigger Shield Steward, who has 8 attack and 25 health, but has 3 pips, and the slightly smaller Spear Steward, who has 14 attack and 5 health, in addition to 2 pips. This is a objectively better version of the old Train Stewards, who were 5/8. I suppose Spear Steward isn't objectively better, but it's still much, much better overall. Alright, so that's our starting deck. Normally we have some things to maintain at the start, but not today. Today we are on the tutorial run, so the game is going to railroad us in, for lack of a better word, to certain things. I'm also going to skip all of the tutorial pop-ups, because I already know how to play the game. One thing that is different in this game is that you have a deployment phase, meaning that you have 1 phase before any enemies appear on the train, where you can play units from your hand, so long as they're either your champion, or they have this blue banner on their card. The blue banner indicates that they start in your hand during the deployment phase. You also get 1 extra ember during your deployment phase, it seems. Yep, that's what the blue banner around the ember indicates. Alright, we're going to start by playing Fel. Yep. And 2 Shield Stewards. So here's some enemies. They're both vanillas. This one heals for 15 the floor, though. We're going to go ahead and do Pyregel to get rid of it. Going to play a friendly unit behind Fel and give her 2 Valor. Doing a little bit of damage to this guy already. Alright, we're gonna do this. Already not really worried about Fel. I can apply a little more to her. I'm gonna do this, so I can hopefully get us closer to clearing all of these guys that come in. 6 damage, 6 damage. And the neat thing about Valor here is that it is actually counteracting all of the damage that Fel took that turn. She took 4 damage and has 4 Valor, meaning she lost her 4 armor and then went back up to 4 armor. That thing is going to die. I can make it die like this. We've done it! The new stewards also look really, really good compared to the old ones that looked terrible. Defeat the boss to win the battle. The Acolyte in the back isn't actually going to do anything unless we lose the battle, which right now we definitely are losing. One more Just Cause won't fix it, but I want to do as much damage as we can. And then they're actually going to heal because of the Acolyte. So maybe Higher Gel, or I believe it's called Firestarter, and 2 Just Causes would have been better there. I'm not totally sure. Either way, I don't believe we're going to be taking damage here. Nope, definitely not. Donk. 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 20 damage, 16 damage. Amazing. That's the end of the combat. I'm going to turn my game speed up to ultra fast for now. Wowee. Okay. So we have new cards in this game. Believe it or not, there are new cards. This is our Banished draft. So we can choose Divinity, which is a 3-cost spell that applies Valor 10. We can choose Cleave, which is a 2-cost spell that deals damage to all enemies on the floor equal to the attack value of the frontmost allied unit on that floor. The other option is not a unit nor a spell card, it is an equipment card. You can equip it to a friendly unit, and it will give them the following effects, in addition to whatever stats that the equipment has, if it does have stats. This one doesn't. One caveat is that any given unit can only be equipped with one equipment card at a time. Windblade is an equipment card that gives its target the shift trigger ability that gives it 1 Valor every time it shifts, which means every time that the unit moves. And on resolve, it triggers its own shift ability. Currently, we have not a lot of use for that. We can put it on something and then make it move around with Just Cause, but that is a very modest synergy. Divinity seems really, really good. 10 Valor is kind of a lot. 10 attack and 10 armor, not bad. It's just very pricey and it'll take our entire turn. Cleave seems like a broken spell. That's really all I have to say about it. Right now, it doesn't look great because our highest attack unit has 2 attack, but we could put it on Fel and she would do 2 damage to a whole group. I think Cleave is very convincing because we don't have any AoE yet, but I am going to take Divinity because this is a tutorial run and I think we can get away with it. Lava Flow. It is a consume spell that applies Pyrogel 4 to all enemy units. Flicker is a normal spell that costs 0 and deals 1 damage to all enemy units. And Alchemy is a 3-cost spell that consumes itself and gives you 2 golden eggs, which are called Dragon's Hoard. I was playing with this a bit on Becca's stream. The more you save up of Dragon's Hoard, the bigger the cash out is when you decide to redeem it. Go back down to 0 Dragon's Hoard and get a bunch of goodies. So you get gold based on how many you have, you get artifacts based on how many you have. You get a minor Pyreborne artifact for having 4 or 6, I believe. You get a random artifact if you have 6, and then you get to choose an artifact out of 3 if you have 8, which is very, very good. I'm gonna take Flicker because I actually do want the AoE. I passed up on Cleave, and I feel bad about it, so I'm going for AoE damage. All right, we can upgrade a spell, which we quite desperately need if we want any hope of actually playing Divinity. And if we do that, we'll draft a Pyreborne unit, or we can go to upgrade a unit at the Merchant of Steel, and we can draft a Banished unit. As I said, I would quite like to upgrade my spell. I would also quite like to upgrade Flicker. Spell Chain is a new... Well, it's not new. It just used to be a Divinity-only thing. You play a card, and it adds a copy of it to your hand that exhausts at the end of the turn, or when you play it. Emberstone is what we wanted here. We're going to go for the Divinity upgrade. Probably Surge Stone? Yeah. Maybe that sounds right. And then we can actually also purge a card. So we're going to get rid of... Believe it or not, the Stewards are actually even worse cards to have in your deck in this game. They really badly clog up your hand, especially if you have a lot of units. So I believe I'm going to get rid of a Spear Steward. Okay, let's draft a Pyreborne unit. We have the Magma Cultist, who on Incant applies Pyrogel 1 to all enemy units on the floor, and the Miser, who has Avarice 10. Avarice is a new keyword that can stack. Whenever this unit does unblocked damage, you get as much gold as they have Avarice. I think what I'm gonna do is take the Miser because it's an okay target for buffs. It's not a great one, but it gives you a little bit of gold every time it hits, which is always nice to have. And it's also only 1 pip. And 1 Ember. Alright. I'm skipping over some of this stuff because I've already seen it before, but the new enemy designs are very cool in this game, and I have a feeling I haven't seen all of them yet. We're gonna go Fel on this floor, the Miser here, and 2 Shield Stewards. So the good news is I can actually fit my Spear Steward in between Fel and the Miser. Wow, this is gonna be tasty. Let's do Divinity here, Firestarter here. That was a brief pop-up explaining the fact that consume spells go away. Wow, she's down to 8 health. That is not super attractive from where I'm sitting. Oh, Vanguard. This is a keyword that I missed. This actually has an effect. When it is at the front of the floor, it has 8 extra attack. Here's what we're gonna do. Wow, the thing is still living. But that's okay. Fel's also going up in armor, which is great news. If the incoming damage is not enough to break through a Valor unit's armor, then they are just not taking damage that turn, which is always cool. We're gonna go pop, pop. No, I guess we just have to cast this stuff now. The advance isn't really doing a whole lot for us right now, because Fel wants to stay at the front, because not only does she have a revenge trigger, but if she's in the front, she can trigger her Valor effect. We're gonna try and kill this, and then load her up on Valor, I guess. Yeah. It's gonna live with 40. Well, actually, it's gonna live with 25. That's gonna be healed to 40. Wow, we made a lot of money though. We made $80 from that. Ooh, this is looking really bad. Let's pop you just so that you don't heal by... Oh, what? Triggers at the start of this unit's turn. It gains 5 armor. Oh, maybe that's why it's so hard to kill. I think I'm gonna Divinity up here. It's gonna gain the 5 armor, and I'm gonna hope that we can do 40 damage to it. Oh, 45, sorry. Huh. Would you believe it? I mean, this should be enough, yeah. I don't like the order I just played my cards in. I'm gonna have to make sure I learn the sequencing that is important for Pyregel cards. We're gonna get 50 gold. Leftmost card, Heroic Dive. It is a 1 Ember consume spell that causes a friendly unit to descend and then advance, meaning it goes down a floor and then to the front of that floor. Then, you deal damage to the frontmost enemy unit equal to 2 times the friendly unit's health and armor, the one that you moved. That can be a lot of damage. I'm definitely not gonna sneeze at that. Penitent's Bloodsuit is an equipment that can be placed on enemy units for 1 Ember. Every time that unit moves, they take 30 damage. Punk Shredder is a Hymnist unit. It costs 1 Ember. It has the enchant effect, which means it gives a bonus to other units on the floor. It gives them trample. Not himself, though. I quite like Punk Shredder, especially if we can get really high attack values on our team. I am going to go with it for now. Although I think Penitent Bloodsuit is a decent removal option. We just have a lot of removal already. Lava Armor. It is an equip spell for 1 Ember that gives its target 10 health while equipped. As a revenge trigger, every time they're hit, they apply Pyrogel 3 to their attacker. Next is Dragon's Breath. It applies 10 Pyrogel to all units on the floor and then deals 10 damage to all of them. The last one is Make It Rain, 1 Ember spell that deals 5 damage to enemy units, spends 5 gold, and does it again up to 3 more times. I think we go Lava Armor here. We don't have an equipment spell at all yet, but I was going to say to equip to Fel. That seems like a relatively decent one. Also, some tankiness is always appreciated in this game. I'm going to go to the right here, and I'm going to draft a Pyreborne unit, even though I would quite prefer a Banished one here. This event was designed by Richard Garfield. I pointed this out on stream. That is the creator of MTG, if you're not familiar with him. The train stops before a peculiar kind of workshop, overflowing with wondrous boxes. 3 boxes stand out from the clutter, with a sign below them which reads, "It isn't the trip, it's the journey. It isn't the gift, it's the container. Reese P. Taculum." Do you take one of these unique boxes? The way this event works, you pick 3 cards in your deck and jam them all into 1 card. The spell will consume and add all 3 of them to your hand at once, and the unit will summon them 1 at a time at the end of each turn. You can also take the large mystery box, which is a artifact that will add a random card to your hand at the start of each turn. And I dislike all of those, honestly. If you had a lot of like really big units, you could try the Jack-in-the-Box and then put them all together. And then they would just get summoned to the floor and you wouldn't have to worry about capacity. But I don't even have 3 units that I would want to put in the box. And I certainly don't have 3 spells I would want to put in the box, so I'm just going to pass up on this event because the large mystery box artifact seems extraordinarily bad, but I don't know yet because I haven't seen the ways that people are going to break the game with that artifact yet. Let's check our Merchant of Steel, and then we will draft a Pyreborne unit. We have Strength Stone, Brave Stone, which gives a unit starting out with Valor 8, sort of the replacement of the Rage upgrade in the first game. I don't remember what that stone was called. Smidge Stone reduces a unit's size to 1 pip, and a Large Stone, which increases a unit's size by 1 pip, and gives them 15 attack and 50 health. Those are interesting options. If we find a very big unit, maybe we will give it the Large Stone and then the Smidge Stone. We also can, of course, remove cards from our deck by purging them. The Greed Dragon. It is indeed a 3-size unit. On summon, it gains 10 attack and 10 health for each Dragon's Horde you have. We currently have 0 and no way to generate them. Then we can draft the Magma Cultist again, who, as a reminder, has an incant effect that gives every unit Pyrogel 1 on the floor. I am not super totally into either of those units. I'll take the Magma Cultist this time. The Greed Dragon is a speculative pick where it doesn't actually do anything right now other than have a okay stat line. I mean, obviously the Magma Cultist has a much worse stat line, but it has an effect that we can actually use right now. I would like to have a generic health upgrade, either for the Magma Cultist or the Punk Shredder. Probably the Punk Shredder because it's a little more in line with our game plan. We don't have a lot of spells that we're going to want to spam late game. I mean, Flicker is a free spell, which is going to be very spammed. I guess we do have a lot of spells, but Pyre Gel isn't really our game plan right now. Actually, honestly, it's probably the Punk Shredder that isn't part of our game plan right now that I'm looking at it. It is speculative that it might be. If we get a lot of Valor rolling, like if we get Divinity to have holdover, maybe, from a Merchant of Magic, would be really cool. And it does look like we're going to head that way next time. We will see. We actually have to pick something at this Merchant of Steel right now, though. I say we have to, but it is purely optional, of course. So we're going to increase the attack of the Miser, and we're also going to make him bigger. He's much, much stronger now. The upgrades... Well, that was a violent yell. The upgrades for units, at least, seem to be cheaper than in the first game, and I'm not totally sure why. Archeon, the Scion of Savagery. This is our Ring 3 boss, our first major boss. Get used to seeing him. You're going to see him every time. There's only one major boss for each thing now, but they have 3 different variants just like in the previous game. His is Furious Frenzy for this run. Every time an enemy unit dies on his floor, he gets range 2. And that means enemies to us, not enemies to him. So the guys that come into our train, if they die, they will buff him. We're going to go ahead and set up our station like so. Oh, I probably should have put the Punk Rocker in here. I didn't even think about that. Archeon is the strongest boss you've faced yet. I'll see about that. Yeah, I think Punk Rocker would have been a much better call. Divinity. Delete. It's a Punk Shredder, by the way. That's what the unit is called. I feel as though Valor has the most use on Fel, because not only does she have multi-attack, she also tends to stay in the front because of her revenge trigger. And we can also do this. I'm going to get rid of this from the deck, because the fire starters are not a kill unless we use both of them on that. Flicker, you were defeated. Oh, maybe I should have done it down here. Well, you live and you learn. But honestly, I don't know that it mattered much, because both of the units were going to die anyway, so it doesn't really matter if they had a million Pyre Gel or 0. Do this, apply Pyre Gel, kill you, and just throw 1 Pyre Gel on you. The nice thing about having this residual Pyre Gel effect is that we are going to accidentally put some on the boss sometimes, which is going to make the Relentless phase much, much easier for this fight. The other downside here is that the Siphon Trigger will happen whenever he's on the same floor as us, not when he's somewhere else. We're going to Divinity, Just Cause, and Flicker. Amazing. We did a lot of damage to him this turn, and he's going Relentless now. So he only went up to 13 Rage, which I don't think is too bad. Divinity is a very good card. And Pie Drop. I need to get into the habit of calling those fire starters, because that's what they are. $10 from Miser. Alright, this is looking clean so far. 150 gold, a rare draft. We can elect to take the Soldier of Fortune. It is a 0-cost consume spell that draws you a unit from your deck. Well, actually it doesn't say from your deck. I don't know if the nomenclature matters, but it says draw a unit. If you have 30 gold, you spend that 30 gold to apply plus 30 attack, avarice 15, and armor 15. You're going to get your money back on this, probably, unless the unit is like absolutely trash and dies immediately, because all they have to do is attack twice to get you 30 gold from the avarice, so it's probably more thematic than anything. The armor is of course a nice added touch because, well, you can never be bulky enough for Monster Train. Our second option is this Cursed Twin Blade. It is a 2-cost equipment card that grants its wielder both 6 attack and multi-strike 1. It comes with the downside, however, that every time they strike, they will lose 1 attack. Our last option is the Hell Furnace. It is a 1-cost room card, which I will discuss in a moment. Its effect is that each time a unit on its floor gains Pyre Gel, it gains that many plus 3 stacks instead. Room cards are new to Monster Train 2. Only one of them can be placed on each floor, but they affect that floor residually until the end of battle, or until the room is replaced with another. I kind of want to take all 3 of these cards, to be honest. I think the only one I'm not going to take is Soldier of Fortune, because the other 2 are much better in my opinion. Do we have anyone that would like to attack twice? I suppose the Miser would like to attack twice on account of it would make us more money. However, it doesn't have an amazing way to scale. The nice thing though is that we don't have to equip it to it like in-deck preview, we can choose on a case-by-case basis where we want to equip a which cards. Hell Furnace is also pretty incredible and would make my Magma Cultist absolutely pop off. I think we're going to take that and we're going to lean a little harder into the spell-slinging aspect of this deck rather than the large monster side of this deck with Spell, Divinity, and Punk Shredder, though as much as it pains me to do so because I already have this 2-cost Divinity. Next we have a unit draft. Our first option is the Magma Mauler. This is a 1-cost unit. It is a dragon unit that on strike applies Pyregel 8. I already know that I'm going to take this card, but I'll read the other two just for the sake of the audience. The second is the Steadfast Crusader. This is a 1-cost angel unit that has the ability Slam. Ability? What do you mean ability? Well, this is an active ability that you can activate on your turn by clicking a little lightning bolt symbol next to them. This particular ability, each one is different based on the unit. This one causes it to advance to the front of the room and then deal damage to the frontmost enemy unit equal to its current health and armor combined. It also has a cooldown of 2, meaning that after you activate the ability, you'll have to end 2 of your turns before you can activate it again. This includes the turn that it is activated on. Last is the Firebrand. The Firebrand is a 2-cost unit that has Revenge, gain 2 Valor. This means it'll gain 2 Valor every time it is hit. Good frontline unit. I'm going to take the Magma Mauler because I'm leaning more towards the Pyregel build, and the more Pyregel we stack up, the more effective it is. Next, we can choose our Boss Relic, equivalent of an artifact, which are slightly changed in this game. The only 2 alterations are that Heaven's Light, previously known as Seraph's Light, now gives 2 capacity on each floor instead of just 1. In addition, they are all renamed. Our deck isn't immensely expensive. I think I will take the draw. We are indeed going to visit the Merchant of Magic because we would like to upgrade our spells for this deck now. Here are some of the upgrade paths for Fel. We started on the Vanguardian path because of the tutorial. We can get Vanguardian 2, which applies Valor 2 to friendly units instead and increases her attack by 1, or we can get Unchain, where every time she triggers her shift, meaning every time she moves, she'll gain 1 Valor permanently. I'm going to continue down the Vanguardian path. Let's check out our Merchant of Magic. There's a new upgrade here called Seek Stone. You can upgrade a spell to cost 1 less and become intrinsic, which adds it to your first hand after the deployment phase. Oh, interesting. Okay, so on the left is the Swift Steel Dagger. This is a generic 1-cost equipment card that grants a unit plus 15 attack and quick, meaning it will attack before enemies. Next is the Steward's Quarters, a 0-cost room that adds +1 capacity and buffs trained stewards within it to have multi-strike 1 and 20 attack. I don't think that should say trained steward, I think that should say steward, but that is a small nitpick. I also don't think I'm going to take it. Shield of Wing is a 2-cost equipment that gives a unit 10 health and makes it deal damage equal to its health value to units that hit it. I don't think I'm super interested in any of these, sadly, so I think I'll take 10 gold instead. Merchant of Magic. I don't think I want to consume the fire starters anymore. I think I want to play them as many times as I can. Divinity will stay at 2 cost, and I believe we'll upgrade this fire starter, particularly. Cost 0. And something to be free. I guess it'll have to be another fire starter. Next, I'll reroll. 10 magic power to Flicker. I would love to have Holdover, but I'll just put the Holdover on Flicker now. The game plan now is to apply as much Pyregel as possible in the room with the Hell Furnace, and to play as many spells as possible to trigger the Magma Cultist, who will apply 4 stacks of Pyregel every time we cast a spell in the Hell Furnace room. Non-boss enemies will gain multi-strike. I don't think we're particularly tanky, so this will definitely be a risk for us, and if we let units kill our frontliners, we are likely just going to take a very large amount of pyre damage, is my speculation. And I don't particularly feel like I need the 200 gold to stay in this run. I think we are relevant even without it, so I will start the battle anyway. I'll place the Magma Cultist with the Magma Mauler, and with Bell. On another floor, I'll place the Miser, leaving both stewards in the deck for now. I'll put the Hell Furnace in this room, and I'll start stacking Pyregel. This free fire starter will do 1 damage and put 5 Pyregel on the frontmost unit, and 4 Pyregel on both units. Now, the next free fire starter will kill the backline unit. And we're already doing a lot of damage. I should be casting spells that don't do damage before I cast spells that do, because Magma Cultist makes every spell, regardless of what it is, apply Pyregel 4 in this room to every unit on the floor. Let's put the Lava Armor on Fel. Well, I suppose we play this first. Then we'll simply have to play it here so that we don't get the bad card in our deck. The problem with this is that we're leaking a unit with 150 health who we haven't dealt any damage to. That feels pretty good. Oh, that unit's just gonna get through, huh? I think I messed up a little bit, but I can start doing damage to it here. There's an incant guy down here for now, and I don't really feel inclined to feed into him right now. This unit's effect is incant, and it applies sap 2 to every player unit on the floor. So we're going to place the Spear Steward up here. The Spear Steward will die if that happens. Field Steward, I suppose. And we'll try and do as much damage as we can, although I believe it to be limited. Alright, we got it from 150 down to 52, which will make it only hit our Nexus one time, or Pyre. We add a Contrition card to our deck, which isn't lovely, but it's actually fine because there's no units spawning this turn. Right, looks good. I'll also get the Shredder out of the deck. Corrin the Judge. This is a boss who has the effect where when they are summoned, they descend all friendly units to this floor and retreat. Friendly units in this context is all of the enemies on the train. I wish they would be consistent on what is a friendly unit to an enemy and what is an enemy unit. We have 2 energy costing fire starters, so we'll play Just Cause here. Fire starter here, 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 and Flicker. Not that that was relevant because Corrin the Judge was dead anyway. Have a monster deal at least 100 damage in a single hit is an achievement I just got. Hell's Finest. Shield of Wing is back. Everlasting Light is another equipment card. It costs 1 Ember, and it gives the equipped unit 3 attack and the strike ability to apply Valor 2 to all friendly units. Demoralize is a new spell. It costs 3 Ember, descends a unit, and applies melee weakness 2 to it. I'll take the Everlasting Light. I believe it may be relevant with Mel's multi-strike, though it would require me to get rid of the Molten Armor on her, which I am quite attached to. Dragon's Breath applies a lot of Pyrogel and deals 10 damage to all enemy units, but it costs 3. I think we'll have to upgrade it if we want it to be relevant in this deck. Mind Cage is an equipment card that costs 1, it gives +4/+4, and the resolve effect is reduce the cooldown of this unit by 1, the cooldown of their active ability if they have one. This essentially halves the unit's cooldown because it resolves every turn, reducing their cooldown by 2 in total. Soldier of Fortune is an option we've already seen, and I am considering taking it simply because it's a free spell that consumes, meaning we won't have to draw it if it isn't playable, and it triggers Magma Cultist once. I'll try Dragon's Breath, but I think I have to reduce the cost of it significantly in order for it to be a helpful card. So I'm going to look ahead. Merchant of Magic, 2 removals, and 150 gold. This looks like a very good path for us to take. Merchant of Arms, an Armory, and Herzl's Horde. Are there any unit upgrades that I think we need sorely? Frenzy Stone would of course be invaluable on the Magma Mauler, and health would be appreciated on the Cultist, but I think we can wait on those. Herzl's Horde grants us an artifact. When you equip a unit, apply Damage Shield 1. At the end of battle, gain 3 Dragon's Horde if your pyre took no damage. I'll take the Radiant Arms. We have few equipment cards, but it is better, I think, than the Dragon's Horde. Armory. Meat Shield is a new equipment card. Costs 1. It gives the equipped unit 15 max health, and on resolve, it has them heal for 10. It reminds me of leftovers from Pokemon. Bloodthirsty Blade is a 1-cost equipment card that gives its unit +4 attack, and the Slay ability that allows it to infinitely scale, giving the equipment card +1 attack every time the unit equipped with it slays something. I'll go with that. And the units gain 6 Valor on Slay, +15 magic power. I'll elect to merge equipment. This is a new option in one of these shops exclusively. Merge the Everlasting Light with the Lava Armor. Puts them together into a card that has both of their effects, both of their stats, and both of their costs combined. I'll also elect to purge a card from the deck, and I'll get rid of a Shield Steward. The Undying One. Misshapen Fiends. I don't like those very much, but I do want the gold for next floor. If you're wondering why I elected to place the Miser on the bottom floor and Fel and the Magma Cultist on the middle floor, I simply misclicked. These new enemies, the Misshapen Fiends, will apply 3 Corruption to the frontmost allied unit when they die. Corruption is a persistent negative status effect that deals damage equal to the number of stacks on the unit every turn, and does not decay. Bloodthirsty Blade will give it damage shield and start stacking when it kills units. I'll play Flicker here, which is going to stack a lot of corruption on this Shield Steward, but I don't really care whether he lives or dies. Play 2 Just Causes, and both of my free fire starters to clear this floor. Bella's very low, but hopefully her Valor can outscale her Corruption, allowing her to live. 6 damage plus 15 Corruption. 10 Valor should be enough to outscale that. Oh, the Valor applies at the end of the turn, meaning she doesn't get the shield right away. Well, it's a little embarrassing, but I'm going to place the Punk Shredder in the front so that it tanks one of the 2 hits. Corruption seems to apply before Valor. That's upsetting. Well, I made a mistake. Valor is quite bad. This thing's gonna do a lot of damage to our Pyre, and the best I can do is try to chip away at it with Pyrogel and damage spells. That said, it'll only survive 2 rotations with our Pyre, meaning it'll deal 24 damage to it, which is less than ideal, of course. This is my normal state of being when I'm playing strategy games like this, where I'll sit and think for a long time before making a very trivial decision. Not that this decision is entirely trivial. I don't like casting spells down here, and so I simply won't. We'll play Just Cause, Firestarter that removes itself from the deck, and the Flicker. That gets this unit close enough to dying that I think we can comfortably kill it next turn with a single damaging spell. That said, we will take the 24 damage to our Pyre, and we'll have to deal with a rather large wave that includes an incant monster on the next turn. This is all made more difficult by the fact that we don't actually have a frontline unit anymore. We can try to make something into a frontline unit. Perhaps the Magma Mauler. I will try it. I don't like the prospect of playing spells on this floor, but I also don't like the prospect of letting this thing get through without taking any damage. Well, that isn't much better, but there are only so many things you can do with the hand you're given. Can we get it below 75 health? I believe so. 17 plus 19. We would have to also play the Flicker, which isn't terribly attractive, so I think we'll take the 20 damage. Divinity. Just Cause. Firestarter. Flicker. The Undying 1 boss has Reanimate 8, which is a new keyword, meaning every time it dies, it loses 1 stack of Reanimate to come back with 1 HP. I'm not entirely convinced the order of the first 2 cards mattered there. I think we've lost. But I'll try the numbers anyway. Ah, I misplayed again. I should have played him after I incanted 3 times. $524 damage is pretty good. I feel as though I actually could have killed it if I played those last few cards in the right order. And I actually still can kill it, so I don't know why I'm moping. Hydrogel is pretty big. Oh no! It has Reanimate 8. I can't still kill it. It's gonna hit my Pyre 8 times? I got an achievement for leveling up any clan. I'm pretty sad to start off on a loss, but here we are. Unlocked Eagleheart. It is a 2-cost consume spell that causes a unit to advance and applies 5 Valor to it, then causes it to attack immediately. I also got the Sky Song Trumpet, an artifact that causes summoning a Hymnist to apply 5 Valor to all friendly units on that floor. Well, that is depressing. We're close to unlocking the Luna Coven, though. Here's a new cutscene. Commander, the initial battalion has finished unloading the train. The reserves are waiting for your command for the next assault. Very well. Send word to the Pyreborne. We'll depart again soon. I'll join you shortly. Yes, Commander. Angels attacking heaven. I could never have imagined it would come to this. Not too long ago, I led these same troops to destroy Hell. Charge!
For heaven!
For Seraph! When we invaded Hell, we fought for Seraph. But now, we fight for our own survival. Seraph, my brother, our leader. I followed him without question, but I saw too late the cost of my blind faith. Since the invasion failed, Seraph began to change. The taste of defeat enticed him to seek greater power from titans beyond our world. Until he got what he was looking for. The titans came to heaven and began to corrupt everything. Now they threaten our world. Our only hope of stopping them is to reforge the Old Covenant, an alliance between angels and demons. My legion of angels came to Hell to fulfill a covenant we once fought to destroy, and reclaim our former home. But old grudges remain. I have to believe this alliance can work, for our own sake. We will progress the story by unlocking new Pyre Hearts. The next features and bit of story will unlock after we unlock 2 Pyre Hearts. Well, that was a shameful defeat. I'm going to do another run, and hopefully I'll win this time. And I think I'll stay with Fel as my hero. We're just going to try again and hope that we can actually win this time. Another new thing is that you can change what Pyre Heart you have equipped. There are 13, it seems. Defeat the Titans. Wowee. I won't go ahead and read all of them now, but it is worth noting that you can unlock new ones that have different effects. Alright, we're going to try over again. Seraph Eternus, Chosen of Entropy, is our Seraph boss fight for this run. I'm not totally familiar with all of the Seraphs, I've only fought the one. Seraph enchants your units with Sap 5 and adds a Curse of Entropy to your deck on Resolve. It's an ephemeral card that applies 4 Sap to your units on all floors, and on Reserve your Pyre takes 3 damage. That's annoying. Either take 3 damage or apply Sap to all your friends. It removes from your deck either way, though. Titan's Edict. Valor grants an additional 1 armor per stack, and Split Anvil from the first game. Split Anvil does seem quite good, but so does Titan's Edict. Let's try it because it's new. Vanguardian Fel, who will apply Valor to all of her friends if she's hit, the one we played with last run, and Unchained Fel. When she shifts, she gains +1 Valor permanently. I am enticed by this option. I'm going to try it out and see how effective it is. Oh, look at these little zombie guys. Ugh. Draw 1 fewer card each turn for 75 gold. I'll try it though. Summon Fel, and summon a Shield Steward. Our goal is to cause her to move as many times as possible. There's also an undo button in this game, which you can use to reset your turn. I would have liked to do that on that last battle, but I am okay with not using a mechanic like that. There's also a restart battle button if you are so inclined, but I'm going to try my best not to use them at all. 20 damage. Not quite enough, but we are gaining permanent stacks on Fel. Oh, very funny. Oh yeah, he's still called the Collector. Cool. 9 damage to Fel is a little bit much. We'll do this. And I don't really want to take 6 damage either, but it's for a permanent stack. Also, she'll get, I think, 7 armor, so she actually goes up. No, 14 armor because of Titan's Edict. Wow. Okay. Dead. We got as many permanent stacks as we could. I'm curious to try Divinity again. Upbeat Warbler enchants your team to have Quick instead of Trample. It is a 1-cost creature that has 1 size and 2/2. It's also a Hymnist. Challenge is another new spell. It makes an enemy, or any unit if you want, it makes a unit advance to the front of the line, and it applies melee weakness 1 to them. I'm gonna try Divinity again. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I have to try it out. Snotty Whelp is a new unit. It has an active ability that has a cooldown of 2. It deals 1 damage and applies Pyrogel 10 to the frontmost enemy unit. Costs 1, 1 size, 4/1. We'll try out Pyreball. It's a new spell that costs 2 and deals 15 damage to 1 unit. It also is explosive, meaning if it deals an excess amount of damage, the excess is applied to all enemies instead of just the one that you target. I'm going to elect to draft a Banished unit. Avenger is a new unit. It costs 2, has 2 size, and has a revenge effect, where when it's damaged, it will apply 1 melee weakness to the unit that damaged it. It's also a 20/40. I'll try the Firebrand. Two, three, 4. That will still be enough to play all of our units to the banner. Enemies will enter with Titan Skin 1. Titan Skin is a new buff that reduces all instances of damage by 1, or 1 for each stack. I will cast the Fireball here. Seems like a very high value card. And we'll apply a lot of Divinity to our hero at the cost of permanent stacks? I think not. I think I'm very greedy. Belle will live if we do this, so I'm going to put her in the front because she's going to gain 21 armor, 28 armor, minus the 7 damage she's taking. Perfect. Okay. This is the boss already. I can give her 10 Valor and move her to the back, which will let her attack as many times as possible. Let's move her to the back to see how that does. 91. Let's give her 10 Valor. 171. Which is really 186, but... Oh, it's actually a whole lot more than that because of the armor, but... That's the effective damage we're able to deal. This isn't excellent. I unlocked the Luna Coven. I got an achievement for it. It's based on how many units you kill with spells, and I just killed a couple with 1 spell. How will we get through this? Suppose we'll apply a Valor to it. And we'll take 7 damage to our Pyre on the second round, but I blame it on taking the trial. These are all cards we've seen before, and I'm going to take the Windblade. Another Pyreball seems interesting, but it's not nearly as good as the one I already have. I'll take the Flicker. New clan unlocked, the Luna Coven. Align with the secretive Luna Coven and tap into the mercurial power of the moon to empower spells and weapons alike. I don't know what that's about yet. I have seen almost nothing of the Luna Coven. I have seen their name and the design of their champion. That champion, the moth lady we just took a look at, but I don't know anything about the other champion. Let's see. Merchant of Arms, which can help us draw the Windblade, a little bit of health, and an event, or the event, a new Pyreborne unit, which we could use, and a Merchant of Steel. I'll elect to take this path. Let's see who the unit is. A Hothead. It has the fire-breathing ability that deals damage equal to this unit's attack to all enemy units twice. It is a very, very good unit to buff. I'll take it. Copy a card, or copy a card 5 times. I'll make a new copy of our Pyreball. This isn't the run to copy a card 5 times yet. Revenge gain Valor 4. That seems pretty good. Sure. It's the same Archeon variant. Sorry, I'm not commentating much. How much Valor is she at permanently? 12. Not a ton. But the Windblade will cause her to gain 1 permanent Valor every single turn, which is pretty good. Oh, it has 2 cooldowns, so it can be cast every other turn. It's very good. It would also live if I shifted it to the front, but I'm a little nervous to do so. So I'll fire starter the back unit. And it'll definitely die to the Firebrand. Let's cast the explosive spell on the weakest unit, the unit with the least health. And I'll also use the ability to avoid dealing damage to the spike unit. Now we're slaying both of them, so I'll use Just Cause twice to move Fel twice during this turn and give her 2 permanent stacks of Valor. She gains another permanent stack of Valor at the end of the turn. Let's give her 10 more Valor. And cause her to move again. If it won't kill the other unit. It just barely won't. Although it is nerve-wracking. Wow, we're already killing the boss. Alright, well, I'll use the ability. Cause her to move again. And deal as much damage as we can. We have 3 new cards here. Eagleheart is technically new, although we just read it when we unlocked it. Spike of the Banished is a consume spell that applies 3 times X as Valor to the unit that you select. Fireclasm is a 4-cost spell that is attuned and explosive. I am not interested in the Pyreclasm for this run, although it is a way to win. The Eagleheart makes us move, which would be a way to gain a permanent stack, of which we have 22 now. And the Spike of the Banished is an incredibly potent Valor applying card, although we'll have to cast it with 3 Ember or more in order for it to outrank Divinity. Then it's consumed from our deck. I'll take the Eagleheart. I'll take Steadfast Crusader because its ability allows it to move, switching places with Fel and triggering her shift effect. I'll also take Heaven's Light because I think we could use a little bit more space on each floor, though Draw and Ember would both be appreciated. Merchant of Magic, Health, a Banished unit, and a Light Forge. All very good options, actually. I'll go that way. Not a single one of those things isn't helpful for us. Wait. Unchained 2 is not an upgrade? It doesn't have any difference? I'm confused. I guess it's just that it gives it 8 attack. Savior allows her to move, so Savior is her activated ability. You can activate it with a cooldown of 3 to have her advance to the front of the line, gain 5 Valor, and gain armor equal to her Valor. Whoa! Divine Dancer. Shift, apply 5 armor to friendly units. Never seen her before. Demonic Fledgling has a strike effect that gives it 1 Valor, and a shift effect that gives it 2 rage. We're gonna take the Divine Dancer, of course. Holdover. I like Divinity. Double stack on the Divinity, though, imagine. Oh, wait, the double stack doesn't make it cost more now. Wow. Well, I didn't even bother taking it. Oops, I'm gonna start making the Just Causes free, and when I get a chance, I'll start removing the fire starters from the deck. Titan Skin 4. This seems quite heavy. What are we visiting next? An Empyrean Well is a new hell vent, in case you're confused. Okay. You can move on your own. You can move on your own. You have a shift effect. Fire. Alright. Let's see what we can do. I do like the Divinity, but I'm going to try and maximize how many times we can move this turn. The Steadfast Crusader to the front, using its activated ability. Then we'll move Divine Dancer to the front, with a Just Cause that costs 0. Then we'll activate Fel's ability to move her to the front and give her armor. Then we'll move the Steadfast Crusader to the front again. And then we'll move Fel to the front again. She now has 27 stacks. I'm having fun now. I mean, I was having fun the whole time. I really like this game, but I have unlocked what makes the Banished clan very fascinating for me. We will move Divine Dancer again. Let's do this to move both of the units that have shift effects, and then move Fel. Use another Fire Blast. Fireball, what is it? Fireball. Okay, that's important. Source. It just is. Cause you to move. Cause them both to move. Cause them both to move. Play the Train Steward. And we have nothing to Fire Starter. 10 Valor is a lot, but permanent Valor is more. I don't really want to just completely grief it, which I fear I might do if I put... well, let's see. Nope, not griefed at all. Cool. Armor stacked up. Liquid Courage is a new consumable spell that costs 1 and applies 1 damage shield and 4 Valor to 1 unit. And there's Demonize and Heroic Dive. I will put this in the deck as another way to move Fel. Heartcage may be interesting as a card to put on Steadfast Crusader so it can move every turn. I can of course put it on Fel as well, but that would have to get rid of her Windblade. Our deck is looking a little thick. Well, it's not thick, it's average right now, but I would like to reduce it as much as we can. I'm gonna go this way. Curious what we want to duplicate. Offer 10 Pyre health with a 50% chance to gain an artifact. Sounds good to me. Yeah, sure. Well, this time, surely. I mean, it can't fail 4 times in a row. And it couldn't. Ow! When you draw a Blight or a Scourge... oh, sure. Gain 1 Ember and draw a non-Blight or non-Scourge card. That sounds awesome. Thank you. I didn't read all of it, and I should have. I will go back later and check, but also next time we see the event, I'm going to read it out loud. I don't know why he offered us 2 relics and not just 1. I think it probably explained it, but I didn't see. Endless. Doesn't particularly synergize with any of our units, but it helps them stay alive. My main concern is that if one of our units die, they're all going to die. So I don't know if Endless is going to be exceptionally useful for us. Divine Dancer having Quick would be pretty nice. Reduce a unit to 1 size. Dualism to double the amount of armor we get. Sounds good to me. Reduce a unit to 1 size. We're out of money. We'll have to visit more of those. Oh, we can actually duplicate the 1 size Steadfast Crusader now so that we can have it move Fel more times. Alright. Though the money would be greatly appreciated, Multi-Strike is a pretty frightening thing, I think. And this is the boss that we died on last time, so out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to skip it. The trial, not the boss, though I wish I could. Alright, this is a very interesting floor we have here. We made them both move. And then we make them both move. We can have the Dancer move to the front, and then Fel move to the front, and then the Dancer move to the front. And then Fel move to the front. Oh right, the Dancer is quick now. Slam. Slam. Move you to the front. Move you to the front. Move you to the front. I've somewhat trivialized the calculus here, because every time we just need to move both Fel and the Dancer, even if it ends up with the Dancer in an unfavorable place. We'll equip the Windblade to Fel. Fireball. And ability. And then Just Cause. This time I think we did beat the combat. Actually, stack. Stack. Fireball. That one tests your lineup's attrition and defenses. a lot more than the other bosses because it has to hit you so many times. There's no amount of damage you can deal that will get you out of having a reanimate 8 in your face. I'm not super interested in adding cards to the deck anymore because our strategy is very strong. In Addiction, all of these cards are pretty good, and this one, Consumes, is the main argument for taking it, but at this point I would rather just draw a card that moves Fell, who incidentally is at 59 stacks. Not interested in any of these either. Here's something interesting. The Soul Smelter. It is an equipment with a siphon effect. It costs 3. Enemy dies on the floor, you get 1 soul. When the boss dies, you get 1 Dragon Sword for every 4 souls you collected. The Soul Smelter. And there's the Overgrowth Carapace, which as a resolve effect makes the unit bigger, as in it takes up 1 more capacity. It gains 20 attack and 20 health if there was indeed capacity available for it. We're gonna make one of these deployable, and I think it will be the Windblade. Next, we'll remove 2 cards from our deck, which will be the Shield Steward and a Firestarter. Oh, sorry, Kale is our second major boss. He has the reverse Umbra situation going on, where he gets to summon cherubs that will feed themselves to him and his friends to give them damage shield. Other variants will do other things with the cherubs, but they are all morsel-like monsters. Or, enemies, I should say. We only have 1 Just Cause in this hand, so I'm comfortable using Divinity. That is assuming that we don't need to cast anything else in our hand. Move. Move. Well, that felt pretty effective. Move. Move. Divinity. $168 armor is a little good. Heroic Dive. Eagle Heart. I ran out of energy. Ember, I should say. Sometimes I'll use Slay the Spire parlance on accident, out of muscle memory. Move. 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 That was actually a damage spell, but sometimes I say things that aren't true. Slam. Slam. 2 units slain. And then we can simply move Fell to the front, cast the Fireball. And pretty soon we will be able to move the Dancer back to the front. Fireball cleans this up a little bit. Dancer goes to the front, then we can activate the Slam. Then we can activate the Just Cause. And everything looks alright from here. I'll just go ahead and stack a little bit of Higher Gel on the boss. Let's move you. Then let's move you. And you. And you. Final wave. 2 of the morsels and the resolve trigger. You did it. I realize I neglected the effects and mechanics of that boss for a minute, and I will speak more on the future ones for the rest of this run. All of these are cards we've seen before. Card draw, Ember, one of those 2. I'm not going to take another capacity gem. We simply don't need it. I think I'll take the card draw. Savior 2 is a little better. Is it just Valor 15? I don't know that it is a little better, but I'll take it anyway. Your second stage upgrades seem to be pretty bad. It's Hef! Okay, I was treating this like it was an event I've seen before, but it's not. You come across the abandoned train yard and watch Hef step out of a rusty train car with a pile of scrap. She investigates the salvage and pulls out a few blueprints. Train could use some tuning up, don't you think? Go ahead and pick a mod you'd like. Which train room do you want Hef to tinker with? Mod the train yourself gives you Hef's Hammer, which is an equip spell that gives a unit 20 attack and, on Slay, give 1 capacity to the floor. The Boiler Room mod at the start of the battle, you apply the Boiler Room to the first floor, which gives you an Ember when a unit dies. Third floor install, which puts Fight Club on the top floor, which gives 15 attack to all of your units on the floor. Send it, let's go. Third floor install. The train rumbles as the metal shifts and its magic changes. After a few moments, the noise stops and the locomotive settles. F crosses her arm with a proud look on her face. Treat her well now. We can do this to one of our Steadfast Crusaders, making their slam ability much, much better. I'm not really interested in giving it Valor 8 to start with either. We're going to re-roll, and if we don't see anything very enticing, like Multi-Strike 1, for instance, we're going to start purging cards, which are going to be the Spear Steward, and then later on, out with the old. Purge all Steward cards from your deck. That was a Steam achievement I just got. And then we will get rid of all of the Fire Starters in our deck. Just simply don't want to draw them. All of these are units I haven't seen before, except Rax the Overblessed, who I saw on stream. Mark of Invasion, so it's going to start with some Purified Souls, which have Spell Shield 2 and nothing else special about them. Discordant Heretic is going to add Contrition to our deck, classic, on Resolve, absolute classic. The Deformed Duo is going to... it has Reanimate 2, and on strike it'll apply Corruption 6. Ugh, that's such a bummer. But if we kill it before it gets to strike, I guess kill it 3 times before it gets to strike, it won't be a problem. We're going to set up on the top floor this time because it has Fight Club, and that's the only real reason. 20 health and adds Contrition. Okay, that's fine. Mind Cage will go on you. Wow, we misplaced them again. That's pretty impressive. I don't want to descend. That was the only reason I added the Heroic Dive, is I didn't think we would not be on the first floor. First floor will stay the norm, even though we have a Fight Club on the top floor. That's excellent. We don't get the Contrition this turn from that one. We still get the Contrition from the one on the bottom floor. Oh, wow, and it looks like it won't stop anytime soon. Alright, Contrition. Fireball. Fireball. Then we can start moving. That's a lot of armor. We've all but won this run. I would want to start getting cards out of my deck, but I more badly want to stack Valor that is permanent, so I will do that. Oh, this is the new boss, by the way. Rax the Overblessed. He starts with 8 Rage, 2 Spell Shield, and 20 Regen, and every resolve he'll gain 8 Rage, 20 Regen, and 2 Spell Shield. Meaning he's another unit that I am incentivized to stay on the first floor for. Uh-oh. I might have made a mistake. But I also might be fine. -1 Spell Shield. I liked that. Valor on friendly units adds +1 damage per stack. This is definitely win more, don't get it twisted. Takes it anyway. I'm not interested in any of these. I'd like to remove as many cards as possible from our deck. And I'd also like to upgrade spells to have holdover. Though, I suppose in this world you don't always get everything you want. Merchant of Trinkets. Unit cards without upgrades get -1 Ember cost. Meaning that would be our Hothead, our lead Songbird, and that's it. Hellheart. Apply Pyrogel 10 to non-flying bosses, enemy units that enter the room below the Pyre room. I don't know if that's insanely useful. Radiant Arms, every time you equip a unit, you give it damage field 1, which I believe we had in the previous run. Not that it did us much good. I think the most important thing to me is that I remove 2 cards, which will both be Pyrogels. These are all cards that will rotate around every time. And then we will duplicate the Windblade. And we'll go to the Merchant of Steel. We'll attain this upgrade. Not really that interested in the damage shield either. I'll reroll once. When a unit without Pyrogel gains Pyrogel against +6. Okay. I was ready for that to be way crazier than it actually is. We don't have a room card either, so we're just going to start removing cards from our deck. Cards that cycle. Divinity cycles, and both of the Pyreballs cycle. Oh, nothing else cycles. Alright, final boss. Seraph Eternus, Chosen of Entropy. Wow, he looks really cool. He enchants the units that are on his floor with Sap 5, and every turn he will add a Curse of Entropy to the top of our deck. Oh, just somewhere to our deck. Okay, cool. It either gives us more Sap or blank straws and everything like that. Alright, back to your usually scheduled bottom floor gaming. Alright, my new goal... Well, we're all sapped and it's pretty bad. My new goal is to remove every card that we can from the deck. Oh, these are the guys who just have Spell Shield and nothing else. Okay. Slam. Slam. Move you to the front. Move you to the front. Okay. Curse of Entropy. We can just let it exhaust, but it will deal 3 damage to our Pyre. Interesting, it actually costs 0. I thought it might cost something. Will this deal damage to the Spell Shield guys? No. It's new. Lead Songbird will fit nicely into our board, and it's gonna get moved all the f around, and I'm just gonna have to deal with that. Anything else that we can remove from our deck? Well, both of the Consume spells. I'm gonna just tank the 3 Pyre damage, I think. Fireball. Oops. I wanted to remove both of them. But now I can only remove 1. I didn't even remove that one. Trigger. Trigger. Move. Move. Consume. Consume move. Place the Windblade on her. That will remove it from the deck in a permanent fashion. Activate. Activate. Move. Move. And we'll just use Divinity for the sake of it. Wow, 450 times 2 is a big number. We're all silenced. What are we silenced by? Oh, this thing, the Deafening Herald. Well, let's kill it. Well, we're finally down to the minimum deck, which is 5 copies of Just Cause, Divinity, and Pyreball. Of course, in this game, it's also Curse of Entropy. Move you to the front, and you to the front, and then you to the front. Now we have our properly tanky unit in the front, which makes me feel good. I'll keep taking damage to the Pyre, I don't mind much. This is the type of hand I like to see. Final wave. Let's see it. Titan Overthrown. I defeated Seraph Eternus. That is an achievement I got on Steam. Well, we've done it. We've completed our first run. Oh, an achievement, win a standard run. The first, but not the last. Let's see. We recorded for almost 2 hours, so I think this is a good amount of time. The Banished have reached level 3, giving them the new spell Rising Rage. It causes something to ascend and then advance. I still don't totally know the point of this card. Martyr's Signet is a new artifact. At the end of the entire battle, meaning when all 3 floors have finished battling, friendly units at the front of each floor permanently gain +6 health. The Pyreborne have reached level 2, unlocking a new unit known as the Guildmonger. It costs 1, and it has an Extinguish effect that grants you 1 Dragon Sword. We also unlocked the Attuned Manacles artifact, which says that summoning a whelp reduces the cooldown of friendly units on that floor by 1. Luna Coven unlocked. Lots of new things. Ah! Beautiful! The new logbook brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart. I spent a long time looking at the logbook in the first game, and gotta say, I'm a very big fan of how they've adapted it to the new game. There's so much content we haven't seen yet, and I'm excited to discover it all. Oh look, we haven't gotten her to tier 3 of any given upgrade path, because all of her tier 2s are kinda bad. All of the artifacts, 120 in this game. Mastery frames, master all cards, wow. Win standard runs at all clan combinations at Covenant 10. Well, this is something that I will very much have to work towards. You won a run, nicely done. You can optionally start an endless run with the deck and artifacts you had at the end of this run. How far can you go? I do not know what endless is like. We'll try it another time. I think this is a good stopping point for my first run today. Armor applied 6,896, which is a big number. Valor applied 693, which is also a big number. Highest damage dealt by a single spell is 128, and silence applied to 15. I don't know how I got that. Maybe from the enemies being spirits. I don't know what that is, but I've apparently almost moved enough units to do it. Run summary. Fel ended up with 177 stacks, which makes me happy. We had the Mind Cage, the 2 Windblades, the Divine Dancer, who had quick dualism, multi-strike, very, very strong, it seems. I like this unit a lot. By the end, I felt like I was doing the Banished fantasy game plan of moving all of my units around in a circle so that they could just trigger their shift effects as many times as possible. Divine Dancer having dualism did mean that the armor was scaling very, very fast, and I think that was part of why it was so strong. The other part, of course, is that Fel scaled permanently. And without her, I'm not totally sure that it would have been as strong as it was. Without either of those two, I don't think that the run would have won. Lead Songbird, 2 Steadfast Crusaders who were Smidgestone, Largestone, and Healthstone. Firebrand with Dualism, a Hothead, Flicker with Surgestone, Heroic Dive, a Just Cause with Emberstone, or other Just Causes, an Eagleheart, a Pyreball with a Power Stone and an Emberstone, and a Divinity with a Seekstone and a Keepstone. I don't know that Divinity is actually good. I have to keep experimenting with it. I really don't know if it's a good card yet. It was definitely not very useful in this run, and we didn't use it a lot, even though we gave it Keepstone. We preferred to have our units shuffle around with Fel so that it would be permanent Valor rather than 10 temporary Valor. I think that was a good run. No story to speak of. Unless this is the story. I don't know. Gathering at the Pyre. I'll look at that. Okay, well, there's some lore. This is Talos! Soldiers, you are dismissed. Yes, ma'am. Talos, how are our numbers? Your legion of Clipped are the bulk of our troops. Several of my hymnists escaped heaven to join us as well. The cherubs? No, unfortunately. KL was spotted in our last assault. He's too far gone. His cherubs go nowhere without him. What about apostles? None. Only me. The rest still worship whatever is left of Seraph. Well, normally I'd be concerned with our numbers so low, but we've gotten the clans of Hell on our side, and that's something. Right, the clans of Hell. Well, I've tried to put aside my differences. It's just that dragon, he always gets on my nerves. I'd follow you anywhere, you know that, but is there really no other way? Must we work with them? The Titans are stronger than anything we've faced. We can't afford to be picky with our allies. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in Hell. Did I ever tell you? Before the invasion, I would visit Hell quite often. No, I don't think so. Did you really? What for? Urzel wanted to show me his home. At first, I hated it here. Everything was loud, harsh, nothing like heaven. But eventually, I learned to see the beauty in it, and in its people. If I hadn't, this alliance might never have come to fruition. So, you think we should just try to understand them? It's not easy, I know, but it's worth it. Trust me, even Phoenix has his redeeming qualities. Well, I doubt Phoenix would see it that way towards us, but I'll try. Trigger an optional dialogue in the Covenant Outpost. If I unlocked the new guy? The new Banished character? Doesn't look like it. My sneaking suspicion is that Talos is indeed the new, the other Banished hero, but I didn't know she looked like that. Like, I've seen that character before, but I didn't know it was Talos, like the same character from the first game, the Ring 1 boss who ruins your life when she has the one that shoves your frontmost unit to the back. Well, we have one Banished Pyreborne victory to speak of, and goose egg on everything else. For now, that's the end of this first one, which is just my first run of Monster Train 2. Well, my first 2 runs, actually. My first victorious run, though. See you next time.